much for joining. I can see you already said yes. Same as well for Che. Thank you as well, Glory. Oh, okay. I'm loving the energy. We're getting started for this session today. Drodola is joining us from Agege, and she can hear us as well. Olajumoke. Edet is joining from Itiosa, Folami from Lagos, Acha. It's a pleasure to meet every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us. This session is brought to you by the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Okay, Tinuka is joining from London. We love that session cut across from Lagos and beyond. And it's a pleasure to have persons like Tinuka and many others that will join us. And we're looking forward to a great session. It's going to be very informative, very packed, and we can't just wait for you to enjoy of all of the benefits and information that Facilitator today will be bringing across to you. So we'll get started right now, since we already have a good number of people joining, and we're also streaming to other platforms. So we'll kick off with it. My name once again is Oluwatimileyin Bolawa. I work as a communications officer at Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. In case you're just hearing about Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, LSETF, for the first time, LSETF was established in 2016 under the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund law, and our vision is to create an enabling environment for job and wealth creation in Lagos State. And we do this by some of our very key impact-driven programs, which includes our loan programs, our employability support project, the Lagos Innovate project, same as the Lagos Cares, and the business supports program, which is one of the programs, one of the initiatives that has brought us here today. I would get into each of the programs shortly and what we do with them, how you can be a part of it while we get started for this session and kick off from there. But I want to check again to be sure that we have a good number of participants joining us, because we want anyone to miss any of the information. So in case you're just joining us once again, my name is Oluwatimileyin Bolawa. If you haven't checked in from where you're joining from, please just use the chat box. Kindly mention where you're coming from, where you're joining us from. If you're in Lagos, we'd like to know what local government or LCD you're joining us from. And if you're joining us from outside Lagos, your location, great as well. Thank you very much, Alawali, for joining. Thank you, Aisha, for joining from Surulere, Glory from Alimosho. We're really glad to have every one of you from all of your various locations. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. So we just get started. We have a good number now. So I said earlier that this session is brought to you by the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. And what we do is to create an enabling and thriving environments for job and wealth creation in Lagos State. And we do this through our key impact-driven programs. Core to that is our loan programs, which aims to create affordable access to finance for small businesses, for them to grow, for them to expand, and for them to also create wealth. And one unique thing about our loan program at LSETF is that it only attracts 9% interest rates, which is very unique. And the goal is to help businesses. So we try to cushion and just provide them with actual real insightful opportunity like this. So our loan program attracts just 9% interest rates. And depending on the structure of the business, you can access as low as 50,000 naira and up to 5 million naira. Again, depending on the structure of your business. Outside of our loan program, we also have our employability support project, which is designed to tackle unemployment for youths by equipping them with both vocational skills and soft training, just skills that help them to be very competitive in today's market. And after successful trainings, we also help with job placements, opportunities for them to take the knowledge and skills that they've gained into gainful employment. Apart from that, we also have our Lagos Innovate programs, which supports the tech ecosystem. So from innovative ideas to supporting tech startups by providing them with workspace vouchers, up loans, and some of our innovative ideas that's where our idea of Spimo Founders programs and all of other ideas are project that we do, where they sit up on. The goal for the Lagos Innovate is to support the tech ecosystem. We understand how much technology is important in today's world, and we want to also bridge the gap by bringing people with opportunities that will help them grow, scale, and thrive. And also, apart from that, another impact-driven project that we run at LSETF is our Lagos Care program. This helps to just mitigate the effects of COVID-19 and the prevailing economic situation as it affects businesses. So we do this by providing them grant supports, and our grants range from credit support to operations grants to IT enhancement grants. And the goal of all of this is just to reinforce and support our commitment to enable job creation and an environment where businesses can grow. And lastly, I'd mentioned our loan, our Lagos Cares, our Lagos Innovator, and our employability. And the one that has brought us to connect with you today is our business support program. Our business support program is aimed to strengthen the capacity of micro, small, medium enterprises in Lagos by providing them opportunities beyond funding. So our loan will provide some sort of funding, access to funding, same as our Lagos Care, just provide you with grants and opportunities from the IT to credit and the operations. However, the difference with our business support is that beyond funding, we aim to provide capacity, strengthen capacities of businesses. And in achieving this mandate, we do from business advisory sessions to access to markets, to business incubation acceleration, to business registration and support. And lastly, capacity building, which is one of the sessions that we're currently having today. And I'm very much glad to have you around today. Our key discussion today centers around tax incentives. We want to discuss tax incentives and how it impacts the business. We understand that when people mention taxes, it can somewhat be overwhelming. From what tax do I pay? How do I pay it? And while there can be challenges, our goal is through this session to help you transform tax challenges into opportunities for you. How can you leverage taxes, even though it might seem ambiguous, it might seem overwhelming for you to think about it, but how can you manage tax information around taxes to be opportunities for you to grow your business, for you to even get some sort of incentives? They are available. We understand that there's a bridge in knowledge, and that is why we brought an expert to you. So again, the goal is for you at the end of this session, our goal is to make taxes work for you, basically. You know taxes, but then how can you make it work for you? How can you beat it and not make it work against you as opposed to compliance? How can you just make taxes work for you? And in doing that today, we've gone ahead to bring an expert to do justice to that. Our expert today, who is a facilitator, is an experienced tax administrator and an accounting professional. He has over 2 decades of experience, which is a lot. 20 years is a whole lot, and we're thankful to have had the opportunity to bring him on the session today. So he has over 2 decades of experience in banking, taxation, and public sector accounting in Nigeria. And out of the over 20, he spent 12 of that years doing practical work at the Federal Inland Revenue Service, which is FIRS, and he's specialized in tax audit, investigation, high-profile tax enforcement cases. His name is Dr. Okezie. He's the current Assistant Director and Head of Government Business Audit, Lagos Federal Inland Revenue Service. However, before I bring him on, I would like to tell you that prior to this position, he's also had so many other senior leadership roles at FIRS, which includes Senior Manager at Tax Investigation and Special Enforcement Department. He's been an Assistant Director at the Tax Investigation Department. He's been an Head of Audit, Micro and Small Tax Audit. He has a portfolio of great positions that he's held, and all of it has always been with a goal to improve knowledge of taxes, with accounting and regulatory, and just contributes to the discourse of tax administration. And I'd mentioned he's a doctor, and just so you know that when I said expert, he's an actual expert. The doctor is not a medical profession, but instead as a testament to his academic qualities as well. So he has a PhD in accounting rather from Bangkok University, and prior to that, he has had an MSc in accounting, Bangkok University as well, an MBA in finance from Ladoke Akwitala University of Technology, and so on and so on. I'm really glad to have him on session today because we are confident that he has all of the knowledge, he has all of the expertise, and we can leverage that to gain knowledge about how we can make taxes work for us. Before I bring him on, if you're excited and you're looking forward to this session, I'd like to see your comments. Just say good morning, good morning, good morning. Just say good morning. I'd like to get one or two before I bring Dr. on to start the session. Well, I'm waiting. Participants, please just say good morning. Okay, so Shubami is ready. Ishola is ready. Everyone is ready. Good morning, Doctor. How are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you. Thank you, Timileyin. Thank you, the participants and the Executive Secretary and all directors of Lagos State Employment Trust Fund for giving us your platform to talk to Nigerians and our customers, because every taxpayer in Nigeria is my customer. Okay, they are my employer. So without them, I don't have any job to do, and it's a privilege to I mean, to have them here to talk to them about tax incentive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, can I go ahead to share my slides so
Yes,
that we
please.
can
Yes, please.
kickstart?
We have our participants already saying they can't wait to hear from you. So please go ahead to share your
All
slide.
right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Um, okay. Please. Sorry. Yeah, I guess the participants can see my slides. Please, Tibulain, please, can you confirm whether
Uh,
they can see my
yes, I
slides
can see. But if you can, participant, please, if you can also see, just say yes, I can. Just say yes, I
so
can.
that
So we
we
can.
can kickstart?
Yes, please. And yes, the recording of this will be available on our YouTube. Just someone just asked a question in the chat box. The recording will be available on our YouTube. We also want you to get the instant impact, so you can also ask questions if you have questions at the end of it. So please stay tuned and let's. Okay, so we have so many people saying yes, they can, yes, they can. So please go ahead, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, like the like Timely has just informed the audience. Okay, this masterclass we are going to look at tax incentive and its impact on businesses. You know, in FIRS, we don't only collect your taxes, we also educate you on I mean what you need to know about taxes, because taxpayer education is part of our function. Okay, thank you for the privilege. So our outline for this program, we are going to first have define concepts, then define tax incentive, which is the reason why we are here. Then we all know that taxation has a lot to do with law. And so we need to touch one or two legislation that supports tax incentive. Then why tax incentive? Why does government, okay, give tax incentive? Okay, because government granting incentive means government is indirectly giving money to the taxpayers. Okay, sorry, please. I will use words and languages that a layman on the street will understand, please. Okay, thank you. Tax incentive, some of the tax incentive available to businesses in Nigeria and the impact of tax incentive to businesses in Nigeria. Then we will draw our conclusion. Okay, so let's kickstart. I'll start uh, by a definition of what is tax. You know, some people will ask, what is tax? Okay, the definition we are using here is saying tax is a mandatory payment or charge collected by the government from individuals and businesses, okay, to support government spending and public expenditure collectively, or to regulate and reduce negative externalities. So you own the government, that's why you are funding a government through your businesses. Okay, and how do you do that? By payment of your taxes regularly. Now, what is taxation? Taxation, okay, is the compulsory imposition of levies on individuals or entities by the government. So the government imposes mandatory levy and fee on individuals and on businesses. And these taxes are raised primarily to raise revenue for government to fund government expenditure. okay, and then it serves other purposes, okay. Then taxation is statutory, okay, and for taxes to be paid, there must be clearly spelled out regulation. Okay, so as we drill down, we will see some of those regulations. Okay, like companies income tax, value added tax act, and the likes. Now, taxation in Nigeria stands on a tripod. The first tripod is the administration. This shows different tax authorities, their powers, their composition, their function. Like we have Federal Inland Revenue Service, which is the federal government owned entity with its own authority and composition. We have several states internal revenue services, like in Lagos here where we have LIRS, and at the local government level, we also have a tax authority. Then we have tax policy, which provides guideline. Okay, because you don't just wake up and then jump into the street or go to people's companies or houses and say there must be policies, okay, which sets out the guidelines and parameter for taxation. Okay, otherwise you just see anybody on the road collecting taxes. Then the tax laws. The tax laws spells out taxes and levies, okay, to be collected by different tiers of government, either the federal or the state or the local government, okay, and then the applicable rates, and of course, penalties if you default. Now, because we are talking about tax incentive, okay, primarily, I would like to bring in a pioneer legislation, okay, because the pioneer legislation talks more about pioneer products and services. And these are products and services that sometimes they are in existence, but the quantity, okay, of those services and goods, okay, in existence might not be in commercial quantity, that help for economic growth. So government now grants, tax relief to encourage industrialization. So, and the Enabling Act is the Industrial Development Income Tax Relief Act, CAPS C17, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. Okay, and most of these, pioneer products or pioneer industries are encouraged by government in the interest of the public. Now, finally, we also need to talk about incentive. What is an incentive? Okay, an incentive in a layman's language is something given to you to encourage you, to stimulate you, okay, and a kind of concession for you to do something. Okay, for instance, if the government of Lagos State, okay, the government of Lagos State may decide to say, okay, let's improve this aspect of of people's living. Then they give some concession. So it's an incentive for you to take advantage of of that. Okay, now we can't talk about taxes or taxation in Nigeria without mentioning the Federal Inland Revenue Service, which is my employer. Okay, Federal Inland Revenue Service is the apex tax authority in the country. Okay, and the mandate of the Federal Inland Revenue Service is to collect, is to assess, collect, and account for revenues accruing to the Nigerian Federation and administer relevant tax laws. So what we do at Federal Inland Revenue Service is to assess, collect, and then we account, because we cannot assess and collect without accounting. Accountability is very key in FIRS, and we administer all the tax laws. Okay, and our mission statement is we are committed to fair tax administration through responsive and accessible services in order to optimize revenue for national development. Okay, so I'm sure most of the taxpayers here, or most of these are customers here, if you compare the quality of service you receive from FIRS today and 10 years ago, I'm sure the is different. From the comfort of your homes and offices, you can file your your returns. Okay, so we are making our services accessible, okay, and to optimize revenue for national development. Okay, then our vision is to be one of the world's most efficient and trusted revenue service. And I can assure you we are getting there. Now, back to the business of the day, tax incentive. Okay. I have two definitions here. The one from United Nations Conference on Trade and Development 2000. We define tax incentive as any measurable advantage accorded to specific enterprise or categories of business by a government in order to encourage them to behave in a certain manner. So you can see that is a measurable advantage to specific enterprises or categories of businesses by government to enable them or to encourage them behave in a certain manner. Okay? So you take advantage by engaging in that business, and government will grant you incentive because you have behaved in a certain manner. Okay, maybe you are producing a product or rendering a service that is ordinarily not in a large quantity in the country, or that will encourage economic development of that country. Definitely the government will encourage you. And for the purpose of this class, we will define tax incentive as special tax provision put in place by the government to indirectly support investors. So government is putting a special tax provision in place, okay, to support the investor. So tax incentive are a vital component of government taxation policies, and is aimed at stimulating specific economic activities by reducing tax obligation. What all of this is saying in a layman's language is that government puts special tax provisions in place to help you reduce your tax obligation without breaking the tax law, without you engaging in either a tax avoidance or tax evasion. Okay, and we have some legislation that supports tax incentive in Nigeria. We just picked just a few of them, like Industrial Development Income Tax Relief Act. This supports Pioneer. Okay, and as I drill down, then we will talk about Pioneer in details. Then Company Income Tax Act, CAPC 21, LFN 207 as amended. Okay, fine. You will bear with me that CETA grants a lot of incentive. There are a lot of incentive. I mean, tax incentive granted under CETA. And then Value Added Tax Act, okay, first schedule of VAT Added Tax Act, which lists some certain goods and services that are exempted from VAT. We all know that currently the VAT rate is 7.5%. Okay, and if you're able to engage or trade in or produce certain goods, okay, and services that are I mean, taxed at 0%, I mean, you save 7.5%. Then there are several amendments in forms of Finance Act. We have Finance Act 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Then why does government grant tax incentive? Okay, government grant tax incentive. I just picked just three reasons, okay, why government grant tax incentive. One is to attract, retain, and stimulate investment in target sectors of the economy. Okay, let's take for instance, I know cement now is costing like, I don't know whether it's 10,000 or thereabout. Okay, if government want to encourage investment in that sector, okay, government will automatically grant a tax incentive. Currently, there is tax incentive in that sector for people producing cement. Government can grant further. Okay, so to increase their capacity to produce more and then sell to us at a reduced prices. Then expansion of domestic production capacity. And most of these incentives are geared towards production. Okay, because if I mean, we're able to produce, encourage companies to go into production, definitely our GDP will increase, jobs will be created, okay, every and crime rate will definitely reduce. Then protect existing foreign and local investment from unfair competition. Okay, so by the time government grants some of these incentives, you find out that it's easier for you to produce than for people to flood the market with cheap goods, okay, which may not have the same quality as what we have produced. And that way, okay, the existing companies or existing investment are protected by the government. Now, categorization of tax incentive. There are two categories of tax incentive. One is cost-based, okay, which is tax credit and accelerated depreciation allowances. Then the other is profit-based incentive. Okay, what this is saying is, look, government can grant incentive by assisting you reduce your cost of production or your cost of doing business. Okay, and government can also grant you incentive by making sure that, look, there are reduced rates because taxes are charged on your profit, on the profit of business, not on your revenue. It's on your profit. So if government want to, I mean, grant you tax incentive or help you, government can reduce, okay, your tax rates through several policies. Okay, so and these incentives are granted. They depend on the sector, income type, business size, and business location. Okay, then there are several incentives in Nigeria, just like I've said, but we decided to just take a few out of all of these. Okay, so one of them is tax holidays, and in tax holiday, we took pioneer status initiative, capital allowances, small and medium company incentives, exemption of certain incomes from taxation, okay, and exemption of certain goods and services from payment of VAT, that's value added tax. Okay, then companies income exemption on bonds issued by the federal government. For instance, if you are buying bonds issued by the federal government, okay, the income you generate from it is tax-free. Then reduce the withholding tax on interest income on foreign loans. So free trade zone incentive, gas utilization incentive, agricultural and solid minerals. If you are involved in agriculture and solid mineral mining, especially agriculture, okay, government has provided enough incentive. And then startups. We brought in startups because of what LSETF does. Okay, so we'll go in details for each of them. Okay, so the first one we are taking is a tax holiday, and we've singled out pioneer status incentive. PSI is a tax incentive which grants relief to companies engaged in production of specific products or rendering of services. These products are granted relief from payment of company income tax for an initial period of 3 years, and this can be extended for 1 year or 2 years, depending on your performance. Okay, so you can just imagine the effect of a company not paying income tax over a period of 3 years, or 5 or 4 or 5 years, as the case may be. So you now plow back that the taxes you were ordinarily supposed to have paid into your business. So you can imagine, I mean, the impact is going to make to your business. Okay, and this pioneer status initiative is supported or backed by income tax Relief Act, Cap C 1 I7 Lord of LFN 2004. And the purpose of this is to speed up the process of industrialization. Okay, and now I know people will ask, how do I get this done? You apply through Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, okay, because they are the ones who oversees the activities relating to PSI, and then they will forward your application to Federal Executive Council for approval, and if it is approved, it will be published, and then it will be gazetted and then published in the pioneer list. Okay, once this is done, okay, you start enjoying pioneer status. Like I said, you are granted 3 years, okay, tax relief for income tax, company income tax, and then this can be extended to 1 or 2 years depending on performance. Okay, then capital allowances. Capital allowance is an allowance granted to an entity or taxpayer who incur qualifying capital expenditure during a year of assessment. In a layman's language, in accounting, we have depreciation. Okay, you depreciate your assets, but in taxation, there is nothing like depreciation. Okay, it's called capital allowance. How does that help you? Okay, this capital allowance assists you in reducing your accessible profit. Okay, your accessible profit is the profit for which company income tax is charged. But if you have, if capital allowance is applied, it reduces the amount of company income tax you pay. Okay, and there are conditions for granting this capital allowance. One of them is that the ownership of that asset, let's take for instance, a generating set, motor vehicle, which you are using in your production process. So you must provide evidence that that generating set belongs to you. Let's assume that Okezie Limited is a company that owns a generating set. Okay, so there must be evidence that this generating set belongs to Okezie Limited, not that not that is owned by some other person. Okay, and the asset must be used for generating the accessible profit. So the accessible profit for which you are going to reduce or deduct capital allowance from. So that asset must be used in producing that accessible profit. Okay, and the asset must also be used or being used, okay, as at the end of the period. Let's assume that 2024 accounting year, okay, you have a generating set and possibly you decided to sell it in September 2024. Meanwhile, your accounting period is, or your year end is 31st of December. You decided to sell it in September. Okay, the implication is that that asset will not enjoy capital allowance. Okay, a check will be made whether there's a capital gain on the on the disposal of that asset. Okay, and the asset must be for the purpose of the business. Any element of it you're using for private, let's assume you have a factory, okay, and maybe 20% of that factory maybe you're operating in a place that have, let's say, 4 flats. Probably you're using 3 flats for your business and you're using 1 flat as residential or for your private use. So it will be prorated, okay, to reduce, to take away the part you're using for personal or private use. Then small and medium company incentives is another incentive government has made available to, especially to small businesses. In Nigeria today, if you have an annual gross turnover of 25 million or less, you are not supposed to pay companies income tax and tertiary education trust fund. Okay, and also you are not, also you are exempted from charging VAT. Okay, provided you file your annual returns. Okay, then if you are a medium company is a company whose turnover is 25 million but less than 100 million. Some of the incentive you will enjoy is a reduced tax rate. Like the standard tax rate in Nigeria is 30%. Okay, then if you are a small company, the law mandates you to pay 20% instead of 30%. Okay, and you've saved 10%. Then medium companies also are entitled pay 2% early payment bonus or rebate when they pay their they file and then pay their liabilities within 90 days before the due dates, okay, or filing. For instance, for companies whose year end is 31st December, okay, then if you are able to prepare your financial statement, file, and then pay, okay, one, you pay 20% and you, sorry, and pay before the end of March, which is 90 days, okay, you are entitled to 2% early payment bonus. And you can imagine the impact 2% will make, plus the 10% you had earlier enjoyed. That's 12%. Okay, so government is providing all of this to ensure that, look, businesses thrive and then survive. Then exemption of certain incomes from taxation. Okay, dividend distributed by unit trust and profit from goods exported. If you invest in a unit trust, the dividend you receive is not taxable. Okay, if you are also involved in export, you produce and you export, okay, and the proceeds, you use the proceeds of such export to purchase raw material, spare parts, plant and equipment, okay, they are exempted from taxation in Nigeria. Then dividend and rental income distributed by real estate investment companies, provided that minimum of 75% of such dividends and rental income are distributed to shareholders within 12 months. Okay, then the beautiful one is, again, that everybody can enjoy is exemption, okay, from VAT of certain goods and services. Some of these are all exports. Anything you are exporting, okay, there is no VAT. VAT is not charged on it. All medical and pharmaceutical products, basic food items, educational books and materials, medical services, baby products, land and machinery for utilization of gas in the downstream operation, tractor and other farm equipment. So if you are engaged in all of this or any of this, okay, you are exempted from payment of VAT. Then companies that are operating in a free trade zone, okay, if you are an approved enterprise, and if you are an approved enterprise that is operating in any of the free trade zones, okay, you are exempted from payment of certain taxes. Okay, and what is an approved enterprise? An approved enterprise is an entity or entities operating in free trade zones that are licensed to operate. So you must get the requisite license, fulfill all the conditions, okay, for granting of those licenses for you to operate in a free trade zone. And if you are an approved enterprise operating in a free trade zone, you are exempted from all forms of taxes, rates, and levies, okay, whether from federal, state, or local government. Then, repatriation of foreign capital investment in the zones at any time with capital appreciation of the investment, because government, is trying to encourage FDI, foreign direct investment. Okay, foreigners are even encouraged to come, invest, and then operate in free trade zone. And if that happens, okay, they have they can repatriate their investments and at any time they wish to. Okay, remittances of profits and dividend earned by foreign investors in the zone. So if you are a foreigner and you're operating in any of the free trade zones in Nigeria, okay, your profit and dividend, you can repatriate them, okay, to your home country. So no import or export license shall be required, okay, and up to 100% ownership of businesses in the foreign. So because government want to attract investment, okay, in the free trade zones, so the issue of indigenization policy, okay, sometimes does not apply. So 100% foreign ownership. So a foreigner can operate in the free trade zone. Then another beautiful one is agricultural and solid mineral incentive. Okay, for companies engaged in agricultural production, government grants an initial 5 years tax-free period and an additional free period of 3 years, subject to satisfactory performance. Please, we have land all over the place in the country, and food is really very expensive. So government is trying to encourage us to go into agriculture, okay? And government has granted this waiver or incentive for us to produce. So you can imagine for 8 years, 5 plus 3, that's 8. You're not paying anything, okay? Then agriculture and manufacturing businesses enjoy no restriction in capital allowance. So if you are involved in agriculture or manufacturing business, you have unrestricted a capital allowance claim. Your capital allowance, you can claim as much as 100%. Okay. And then agricultural companies are exempted from payment of minimum tax. Then companies engaged in mining solid minerals are exempted from tax in the first 3 years of operation. I know Nigeria is blessed with so much solid minerals all over the place, and government is trying to encourage people, companies to go into mining, okay? And then we have gas utilization incentives, okay? And this is subdivided into upstream and downstream gas utilization. Upstream, okay, is the upstream for associated gas. These people who are involved in, or companies that are involved in capturing of hydrocarbon, okay, that's the big companies during crude oil exploration and production, okay, and they transfer such gas to custody for the purpose of processing for industrial and domestic use. Okay, then while associated gas is just the extraction of gas in its natural state by any process or operation. And the incentive you will enjoy is royalty and petroleum profit tax you pay at 0%. That means you don't pay royalty if you are involved in upstream gas utilization. Okay, you are not supposed to pay royalty as at now, and petroleum profit tax. You know, petroleum profit tax is paid at the rate of 85%. So you can imagine the huge incentive. So all your capital investment necessary to separate gas from reservoir into a usable process shall be treated as part of oil field development. So invariably, government is allowing that for you, and all your capital investment required for converting the gas, okay, into a usable form is also treated as a part of oil field development. Then, while the second part is downstream, which involves the marketing and distribution of natural gas for commercial purposes. Okay, so if you are involved in marketing and distribution of natural gas, maybe to the people involved in electricity, okay, that is all power plants and the rest. You enjoy the downstream gas utilization incentive. And what are those incentives? You don't pay petroleum profit tax. I mean, okay, your taxes are charged as company income tax, not as petroleum profit tax. So you pay 30% instead of 85%. Then you have a free period, a tax-free period of up to 5 years. Okay, and you have accelerated capital allowance after the free tax period. Okay, your tax-free dividend during the tax-free period provided that your investment constitutes up to 30% of the equity. Also, investors in the gas pipeline can obtain an additional tax-free period again for another 5 years. So you can see, though there is huge investment, outlay in all of this, but government compensates you through these incentives. Then another beautiful one is a startup tax and fiscal incentive. Okay, and by definition, a startup company are companies that are either in existence or you're forming that are not more than 10 years. But the object of such businesses is for creation, innovation, production, development, and the adoption of a unique digital technology, innovative product, services, or process. So if you are involved, you are a developer, okay, or a producer of a unique digital technology, innovative product, this is for you, okay? And the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, serves as secretariat for the issuance of, they coordinate this and then issue a startup label. Okay, the startup label is a certificate confirming fulfillment of the requirement as a startup company. Because if there are no conditions, people will wake up and then claim this. So, because government is an organized setting, organized entity, okay, so it mandates NIDA to coordinate all of this, okay, and the requirement is that the object of the business is innovation, development, production, improvement, and commercialization of a digital technology, innovative product. So if you're a contractor that supplies maybe water and all of that, please, you are not part of it. Or supplies office equipment, no. Then that company must have at least one third shareholding held by one or more Nigerians as founders or co-founders, because government is trying to encourage Nigerians, youths, younger people, okay, to venture into startup. Okay, so then what are the incentives that are available? Some of the incentive, okay, that are granted relief under PSI. That means you enjoy 3 plus 2, that is 5 years tax-free period. Okay, and because startups involve a lot of research and development, you know, every expenses for research and development that are wholly incurred in Nigeria, they are exempted, okay, from taxation. And in the process of this, if you organize a training program, in-house training program for your employees, like train the trainer and all of that, you are also exempted from payment of ITF levy. Okay, that's ITF Industrial Training Fund levy. Okay, then if you purchase an asset and that asset is disposed, okay, after spending at least minimum of 24 months, which is 2 years, that asset is exempted from capital gains tax. And we know that the applicable rate of CGT is 10% in Nigeria. Then, what is the impact of this tax incentive on our businesses? Okay. Government has noticed that since it started granting this incentive, that the economy has experienced positive impact. And this positive impact can be seen in the areas of job creation, contribution to GDP, improved export earnings. Okay, because there are incentives in export, a lot of people, okay, have got involved in export, and the earnings has increased, and also increase in foreign direct investment. For instance, if you look at the level of foreign direct investment into Nigeria, okay, the last 2 or 3 or 4 years and compare it with 10 years ago, you can see the difference. Then, in conclusion, we are saying that tax incentive remains a viable economic policy tool for enhancing economic prospect of developing nations like ours. Okay, they have facilitated essential foreign direct investment, improved export earnings, generated employment, and contributed positively to our GDP. The audience are encouraged to take advantage of the numerous tax incentives available to enhance the growth of their business and economic growth. So at this point, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Doctor. Thank you so much. That was very informative. That was sparked, and I'm sure that all of our participants, including myself, have noted so much that we'll take away from here. Thank you so much. If you've been a part of the session, we've been talking about the how tax incentives, how they impact your business. And Dr. Okezie has taken his time to take us through the various tax incentives that are available. Even in first, just talking about what tax incentives are, and he's made us know that they are basically things put in place, right? Policies, provisions put in place by the government to help you with ease your tax obligations as a way to indirectly also foster some sort of foreign investment with all of its numerous benefits as well. And they just spoke to how some of this directly impacts from job creation to increasing export readiness and so many other things. So thank you so much, sir. I am well aware that some of our participants, so many people are saying thank you in the comments already. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. So if you have any question, please, I would like that you use the Q&A. I know that we already have some of them available at the moment. Doctor, should we take them now? Should we start with them? Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So someone is asking, how is taxes between LIRS and FIRS harmonized?
Sorry? I didn't
Someone
get
is asking how taxes between LIRS and FIRS, how are they harmonized? And another one that directly links to that is that they want to know what the relationship is between LIRS, FIRS, and JTB. I think we could start off with that, and then so we have more questions. We'll get to them. So did you get that question, sir?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me take the first one. How are taxes harmonized between FIRS and LIRS? Okay. Thank you for this beautiful question. You see, at the point during the presentation, I mentioned about the tax laws. Okay, the tax laws separated the taxes. Each tax authority is empowered to collect. For instance, I live in Lagos, I work in Lagos. My personal income tax, okay, goes to Lagos Internal Revenue Service, LIRS. Okay, but taxes like company income tax, education tax, VAT, and the like goes to FIRS. So the law separates the jurisdiction, or the responsibility of each tax authority. Okay, so FIRS cannot, fine, as I speak to you, LIRS is my customer. LIRS pays certain taxes, deduct and remit certain taxes to Federal Inland Revenue Service. The same way, Federal Inland Revenue Service, all our employees in Lagos State, okay, we have over 1,000 employees in Lagos State. We pay our taxes to LIRS, that's personal income tax. Okay, then how are these taxes harmonized? Just like you said, the law, the tax laws, the relevant tax laws separate, okay, the jurisdiction of FIRS and LIRS, and that way I cannot go to any company and then or individual to ask for personal income tax. No, except the police, the armed forces, okay, and these are handled at their headquarters in Abuja. Then the second question, someone is asking about is it the separation of between FIRS, LIRS, and JTB, or
Yes,
what
and
is
they also want to know, yeah, the relationship between all of them, and they also want to know which of the tax clearance certificates supersedes the other.
okay? Thank you very much. FIRS is the Federal Tax Authority owned by the federal government of Nigeria, okay, and then administers federal taxes. LIRS is the Lagos Internal Revenue Service, charged with the responsibility of collecting taxes in Lagos State of one, individuals, okay? Then withholding taxes, they also collect withholding taxes. That means withholding taxes between individual and individual. Likewise, stamp duties between individuals and individuals. But if it is between individual and a corporate entity, it comes to the federal. Then JTB, sorry, you mentioned tax clearance certificate. For me as an individual, I will not go to FIRS to get tax clearance. Okay, it's LIRS that will issue me tax clearance after filing my annual returns. As an individual, you are supposed, expected to file your annual returns. Okay, at the end of the year, you file and you apply for your tax clearance certificate as an individual. And the relevant tax authority in Lagos is Lagos Inland Revenue Service, LIRS. Okay, for companies, please, for companies, okay, you file your returns to FIRS, whether it's a small company. You know, in the course of this lecture, I mentioned that small companies, that is companies with turnover less than 25 million and below, you are supposed to prepare and file your returns at a designated FIRS office and then apply for your tax clearance certificate. So the fact that you did not pay, or you're paying at 0%, invariably you're not paying, does not preclude you, okay, from applying and receiving tax clearance certificate. It is your right, okay. Apply to any FIRS office, file your returns, apply, is your right, okay. Then JTB is his name Joint Tax Board, is an umbrella body that unites FIRS with the 36 internal revenue services plus FCTIRS. That means every state of the country, okay, has its own IRS, that is Internal Revenue Service, plus FCT, that means 37. So then in the banking industry, for instance, JTB's, let's use banking industry for instance. JTB serves as a kind of a settlement entity. Okay, for instance, if FIRS have an issue with any of the inland revenue services, okay, then you can bring it to JTB and it is resolved. So is an umbrella body. Is an umbrella body, okay, that that coordinates that the relationship between FIRS and the relevant tax authorities. So JTB does not issue tax clearance certificate, please. JTB does not issue TCC. Is an umbrella body, okay, that coordinates the affairs between these entities. Thank you.
All right,
Do you
thank you
have
very
further
much.
questions?
Yes, yes, yes. We have loads of them, and I'm sure
Okay.
you get into it swiftly. Thank you very much, Sam. Thanks for the clarity on how the different agency works together, how they uh also harmonize the taxes and what's each of them do individually. Thank you so much. So I know many of us have been asking, replay be available, with the slides be available? Yes, the replay will be available on our YouTube page. I would implore you to check out our YouTube page, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. A replay at this and some of the other sessions that we've had will be available for you to watch, relearn, and also take one or to it, as well as the slides. We'll communicate the slides to you after this session today. So for everyone that has asked that, thank you for that. I just prevent clarity on it. So someone is also asking if the proposed tax bill, if it overrides the current tax provisions.
Okay, thank you very much.
I like that you smiled as you're about to answer that, because it sounds like you want to get into inform us well.
Yes, this person has asked a question I'm trying to avoid. Okay. Yes, you see, the tax bill is still a bill. It's not an act yet. It's still being debated at the floor of the National Assembly. So we can only implement, okay, when it becomes an act. Okay, so it does not, at the moment, one cannot say that is overriding the current. No, it's still a bill. It's not an act yet.
It's still a bill. It's not been passed yet.
However,
Okay.
we know that there are certain provisions, okay, in the bill that when it becomes an act, that will definitely override certain sections of the existing law. For instance, we just mentioned here now that small companies, okay, are companies with gross turnover of less than 25 million, okay. In the bill currently residing with National Assembly, okay, that has been changed, that will be changed if the bill becomes an act. It won't be 25 million again. Small companies now will be companies with a turnover less than 50 million and below. Okay, and there are certain other provisions in that, but it's still a bill, so it's not yet an act. So what we are working with presently is what we have, because the tax revolves around the law. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's it.
Yes.
You've had it, Mrs. Oluwaseun. It's still a bill. It has not been enacted yet. So our current provision are still that. While we have like
Yes,
some insights of what might change, the reality is that at this moment it's still a bill. It hasn't been
it's
enforced
still a
yet.
bill,
Okay,
definitely.
thank you. So you mentioned something about turnover, and I know I saw a question that speaks to turnover. So I'll just read it. It's a long read, so I'll just read it so you can
Okay.
please answer. So Tesla is asking, he or she had said that they recently registered a business name into legal services and they went ahead to FIRS for documentation and compliance. However, in the VAT letter received, it stated that the business must render returns on or before 21st of every month, without which the business will face penalty. So their question is that they are asking that they are taught that businesses whose turnover is not up to 25 million are exempted from payment of tax or filing returns on the tax pro max being a startup. Can you please provide clarity to that, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You see, the fact that I mentioned it here, the fact that a small business, okay, is charged tax or exempted, is charged tax at the rate of 0% or is exempted from payment of taxes, okay, they are not exempted from filing their returns, okay. You are, as a new business, okay, you are supposed to file your returns, okay. Then these returns are monitored. Definitely, these returns are monitored. We in FIRS, we monitor every return you file. They are monitored. And then again, it's a compliance issue, okay? We are not asking you to pay. We are asking you to file your returns, which is a compliance issue. So file your returns, okay? So sometimes, fine, I've mentioned it here, people file nil returns and they get tax clearance certificates. Nil returns, that means you're not paying anything, but you get your tax clearance certificate because it is your right. And because you have done what is right, okay? Because you have done what is right. So nobody bothers you. But if you fail to do what is right, definitely you expose yourself to, I mean, a charge of penalty. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I believe that answers that very much. Thank you so much, sir. So I think most of the questions that we are getting are just about general knowledge on taxes, which is very fine too. And I know you're comfortable providing answers to
Go
that
ahead.
so that people are very
Go
much aware.
ahead.
So someone is asking, how does a startup company into technology go about claiming their tax rebates? Or does the company ask to formally apply?
Okay. Thank you very much. For companies classified as startups, okay, I mentioned you have to pass through NIDA, get the necessary certificates, okay, then you apply because government can only know, okay, you have done this or government is owing you this on application. So it is only when an application is made, okay, and the relevant agency of government, okay, looks at it, okay, and then we will attend to it. But application is key. You must make an application. Thank you.
Okay, very well. So application is key. It's available, but then application is key. You have to show intent and wanting to benefit from it. Okay, very well. Thank you, sir. So Unkoy is saying that they registered the company in 2018 because they did not have a means to start the business at the time. They just put it in corner. They didn't like they registered, but then they didn't start off. However, they are ready now to start, and they were told rather to pay over 300,000 naira as tax dating back to when the company was registered. They're asking if this is right and what can be done about it. Did you get a question, sir?
Yes, I did. That someone registered the company in 2018,
2018, but they did not start the
uh,
company at the time.
but did not start. Yes, you see, and the person now wants to start doing something, and he or she is asked to pay
Up to
300,000.
over 300,000 naira as that tax
Yes,
dating back to when it was actually registered.
yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, the tax authority or tax office that have requested you to pay 300,000 or above is right. You see, what government is trying to discourage is the issue of people waking up and then registering a company. When you register a company, okay, Karma provision, okay, requires you to file or render returns at the end of every year. Okay. And once you register a company, you're issued the registration number, and the date of incorporation of that company is also made available. And from that point, okay, whether you have started business with that company or not, you have a responsibility to file your returns. See, I've mentioned it here time without number that you are required to file nil returns. Okay? You file statement of affairs that look, oh, this company, we have not started doing anything. Oh, and you can even get your tax clearance certificate, nil tax clearance certificate, even though
Even
you've
when
not
the
started doing
government is
it.
not in operation, even when the business is not in operation.
But is yes, you see, for the fact that you have incorporated a company, that company is a legal entity, okay, in the eyes of the law.
It is
So,
recognized already.
so it is recognized. So every requirement of law must be met by that company, failing which, okay, penalty will apply. Is a compliance provision. So I'm sorry, probably you didn't have this knowledge. Okay, please, as soon as you incorporate a company, after 6 months or 1 year, as the case may be, please try as much as possible to um, file the statutory or
Returns.
returns. I mean, to save you from issues like this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, that's sad, but then it's the reality. It's
Yeah,
compliance. The fact that your company is registered, every other provision that applies to company running also like applies to you. Okay, thank you very much,
definitely.
sir. So I will just see how we can reach some questions because we're still getting so many of them, and then we're running out of time shortly. So another question, I'll take two questions at a time, and I want you to take
Okay.
answer them, please. So one is that are non-profit required to collect tax clearance certificates after
Sorry,
filing?
sorry.
Are
Let me get
non-profit
that.
organizations, are NGOs,
Okay.
are they
Okay,
required to
NGOs.
collect tax clearance certificates after filing of annual returns?
Okay.
That is one. Then two is that tax clearance certificate, are there cost implications for it? And what does it cost, both from LIRS and also FIRS, if you have
Sorry,
knowledge of it?
sorry. TCCs, are they what?
Does it have cost implication and what they have? Do you know what can you share what the cost implication is from
Okay.
acquiring it for both LIRS and also from FIRS? So
Okay.
we'll do two
Okay.
questions at a time. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me start from the issue of TCC, that tax clearance certificate, because it's key. You see, TCC, okay, like I stated here, for small companies, you file your returns, okay? You file your returns or you file a nil return, it is your right to be issued TCC without collecting anything from you. Okay, it is your right because you have met the requirement of the law. Okay, now for companies that that have generated profits that are not small companies whose profits are above 25 million and above. Okay, I said earlier that look, taxes are computed. What you pay is computed from your assessable profit. We don't charge you taxes on on your turnover, no, or income. It is on your profit. So taxes are charged based on your profit after computation. Okay. Now let's assume that I am an audit person. Okay, fine. I come, I review your books. Maybe your turnover is 100 million and you're reporting 23 million, for instance. We see them happen. We also see people whose turnover is even well above 500 million. They will report 20 million or 25 million. Yes, you go to the tax office. They do their reviews. Okay, they may issue you tax clearance certificate. When we come during audit, because we have tools which we will use to analyze every data you have given to us, and most times before we visit you, we have done let me use the word groundwork. Okay, we have profiled you,
Due
your
diligence.
businesses, we have your data. And I can tell you, most taxpayers, we have tools to get access to your bank statement. It's a requirement of the law, okay? Because CBN has mandated all the banks to provide certain transactions of a certain threshold to the service. Okay, so we have your data. So you report maybe 20 million, and I go there, I find that look, your actual turnover is 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, as the case may be. What will I do? I mean, charge you tax based on what your real income and what your real profit is. Meanwhile, I will take cognizance of the fact that even though you have lied that your turnover is maybe 20 million, we understand that turnover or income are generated by cost. So we will ask you to provide what your real costs are and then your real turnover. And it's very simple. We charge you, I mean, what your taxes are, what your actual taxes are. Then NGO, hello, sorry, please. Then at the Lagos Internal Revenue Service, LIRS, I know, though I don't work for LIRS, but I know every year we file our annual returns, okay? Then they recompute what your taxable income is, okay? Then if you have paid less than what your taxes should be, the difference you are required to make good, okay? I mean, those differences before they can issue you your TCC, okay? Then the issue of NGO, hello? Yes,
Yes, sir.
the issue
Yes, sir.
of
Yes.
NGOs, when NGOs file, Sorry, I think I will need to give further clarification with issue of NGOs, please. Okay, I will need to get further clarity because there have been a change. I think that was last year, and I don't have 100% information so that I will not pass a wrong information to the public.
Okay,
Please,
very well,
please,
sir.
yes, please, I will get what the current position is, and I will pass it on, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
So we still have questions coming in. See how much of it we can get to now. So someone is
Okay.
asking that in case where their staff live in a different state, how do they sort out the payee? Should they just pay to the Lagos state, to the states where the
Sorry,
company operates?
sorry.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, where their staff lives in different states.
Yes, where their staff live
Okay.
in different states, how do they sort out the
Yes.
payee? Should they pay to the state where the company operates, or how do they go about it?
Okay. Thank you very much. The issue of personal income tax, okay, resides with state of residence. Where do you reside? Okay. For instance, the issue of Lagos and Ogun. Sometimes some areas you may not be able to differentiate where is Lagos or where is Ogun as a layman. Okay, what the entities are supposed to do is please find out where your staff is living. Some people live in Ogun, work in Lagos State. Okay, and payment of taxes by individuals is state of residence. Okay, if you live in Ogun, I know that around Bega there are some places that are just very close that are Ogun, but a layman will think they are Lagos. Find out where that. So you pay for those people who are residing in different states. Please pay their taxes to the relevant tax authority in that state where the person is residing. Okay, for instance, you work in Lagos and but live in Ogun, pay to the Ogun State IRS. You live in Lagos, you work in Ogun. Sorry, you live, yeah, you live in Lagos and your job takes you to Ogun. Please, you pay to LIRS, your state of residence. Please, that's the provision of the law. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure that provides clarity for every one of us that are
Yeah.
wondering how to go about that. Thank you, sir. Okay, so so someone tagged these questions on taxation. So we'll get to it now. So the first thing they're asking is that what are the necessary steps to be taken for a newly registered business with taxpayer identification number to start filing returns on value-added taxes or company tax? So they're just
Okay.
asking what are the necessary steps to be taken for a newly registered company for them to start filing returns, both
Yes.
on value
Oh,
on VAT and also company tax.
yes. Okay. Thank
And
you for this beautiful
so they
question.
asked two questions. Let me throw the other one.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So they're also asking if there is a deadline or grace period given by the government to new companies for them to file in returns as a newly registered business that is into operations or into production. So, like, is there usually a grace or a deadline period given by the government for them to file their returns, most especially for newly registered businesses?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I've answered these questions in passing. Okay. So steps to getting your taxpayer identification number includes once you have incorporated the company, and in most cases, at the point of incorporation, FIRS have an officer at CAC, okay, that will assist you generate your TIN, okay, and then once that happens, whether your TIN is given to you as CAC or not, please go to the tax office closest or nearest to the registered address of your business with all your CAC documents. Okay, then the tax office will give you certain forms to fill there and then, and TIN and every other information is generated for you if it has not been generated. But if it has been generated and is not activated, it will be activated once you complete those information at the tax office. Okay, then now that we are automating, okay, they will equally give you tax pro max form. You will complete it manually, okay, and then your information will be captured into the tax pro max, so that from wherever you may be, you will be able to file your returns and then get information. Okay, then the second question is sorry, please kindly remind me the second question.
If there's a deadline or grace period given for
Deadline,
them to
yes.
file.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. On incorporation, okay, or whenever you start your business, you are required within 6 months, to visit the relevant tax authority. Okay. In the case of FIRS, you have within 6 months. And I think 6 months is long time enough. I mean, for people to comply. Okay. Yeah. Within 6 months. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Uh, okay, so there is a question about reconciliation. So this person is asking, how do you reconcile an employee paying its payee to relevant LIRS office, and that same individual has a business? However, that business is a one-man business. Does the payee that they already pay cover tax payments
Sorry,
from that same
sorry,
business
sorry,
as well?
sorry, please. The business is what?
Okay, so I'll just go over it again. They're asking how can one reconcile an employee that is already paying
Mm-hmm.
their payee to a relevant LIRS
Yes.
office, and
Mm-hmm.
that same individual now has a business.
Person has a registered business, an
Yes, they have a
incorporated
registered
business.
business, but then it's a
Mm-hmm.
one-man business. They don't necessarily have
Mm-hmm.
like a large team, and they're probably not doing so much in terms of returns or turnover. So it's a one-man business. So they're asking that since it's a one-man business and the person's already paying their payee, does the payee cover the tax payments for that individual business?
Okay. Thank you very much. The Karma has made it possible that um, that people can incorporate businesses as one person. Ordinarily, it should have been a sole proprietorship. Okay, if it's a sole proprietorship, okay, your you as the sole proprietor, okay, you pay tax on behalf of that entity, that's of that business. But if it is a limited liability company, because the word limited is key. If it is a limited liability company, okay, it is I mean it is separate, different from you. Okay, it is
Okay.
it is an individual in the eyes of the law. Okay, so you should prepare returns for that entity and then pay on behalf of that entity, which is separate from you. However, if it is a sole proprietorship, people call it side hustle. Like me now, I'm a public servant, okay? My taxes are deducted whenever my salaries are paid and remitted to the relevant tax authority, depending on my location at any point in time. Okay. Now, let's assume I have a small business. Okay. Then that income, the profit I will generate from that sole proprietorship, okay, will be a part of my income. So that means when I'm declaring to LIRS what my incomes are, that is when I'm filing my returns, apart from how much I'm paid by FIRS as salaries and allowances, I will also declare the income from that, let's say, Okezie mini store. Okay, I will also declare what income I have made from that mini store while I'm filing my return, so that LIRS or the relevant tax authority will incorporate it as part of my income and then tax me appropriately. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you. So if you're just joining us, it's been a long, educative, informative, and insightful session. The topic of discussion has been tax incentives and how it can impact your business. And our facilitator, Dr. Okezie, has provided some insight. Tax incentives are the various ones that exist and how it can impact your business. So we're just answering questions as they come in. If you still have more questions, you can use the Q&A box, and then we'll provide answers to that before we wrap up. So I have some questions about VAT, withholding taxes. So I'll just read through some of them so you can please provide clarity to it, sir. So someone is asking that how can they be sure that their business is exempted from VAT? They are they're a fashion designer and they do not charge their customers VAT. That is one. And two is another question of VAT is that someone is asking how can they remit VAT on an item they purchased with VAT paid, where they bought it while supplying such items to another company. Do you want me to take that again, sir?
Sorry, please. Let's take them one by one.
One by one. Okay.
Yes, so the first one, a fashion designer.
Yes. How can they be sure that their business is exempted from VAT? They are a fashion designer and they do not charge their customers VAT.
Okay. Thank you very much. The fashion designer, if it is the fashion design business, if it is an incorporated business, okay, you are required normally to prepare your returns, okay, and if by the time you're preparing your financials, you'll be able to know whether in a particular year you are making 25 million and above. Okay, if you're making 25 million and above, definitely you will pay taxes. Okay, but if it is less, and you cannot know, okay, if it is less when you have not prepared your financial statement, or fine, you know what some of them do is you pay them. Let's say I go to a fashion designer shop, then the person charges me 10,000. He records my name, Okezie 10,000, Mr. D. So at the end of the month, they should be able to analyze. Sometimes people pay cash, sometimes people pay through the bank, okay? And you and I know that most of these businesses, okay, they collect some of their money in cash and they don't go to the bank. So sometimes you collect that money and you spend it without even accounting for it. So the best way is try as much as possible to keep records. Okay, from your records, you will be able to know, okay, I have done X amount, I have done Y amount. Then by the time you aggregate it, you'll be able to know, okay, whether you are required by law to file and pay VAT. However, filing is a requirement of the law. Please, filing is a requirement of the law. Thank you.
Okay, so
Okay,
thank you.
then the other question, please let me get it and then attend to
Okay,
it.
so Kunle Bangwe is asking that how can he remit VAT on an item they purchased that VAT was paid on it, but then they are also supplying that same item to another company. Do you understand the
Okay,
question, sir?
yes, okay. He purchased an item from a dealer,
Yes, sir.
and he is also supplying it to someone else. Invariably, he's a middleman.
Yes. So how do they remit VAT on such item?
Okay, now this is a bit technical. Okay, this middleman, how much is his gross income? Because if we know how much his gross income is, now that will enable us classifying him whether he is a small company, a medium-sized company, or a large company. Because the treatment of each depends on this classification. Thank you. Hello?
Okay, sir. Uh,
Yeah,
so what you're advising is that they first need to understand where their business stays,
exactly.
what company they
Exactly.
kind of run, what structure they have, and that will now
Ex-
stimulate how they can go about.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Sorry, someone is raising hand. Olajide Elizabeth. I think the
Elizabeth,
person had
I'm
been
sure if you
raising
can
hand
drop the question, if you have a
for a
question,
while.
I believe you have a question
Okay.
or a comment, if you can drop it in the Q&A, and every other person that also has more question, you can just drop it in the Q&A. It allows us to feed through it, and then we know which is resolved and what we have pending. So we'll
Okay.
get to it. So please use the chat box. Okay, so we're wrapping up with the questions that we have. Someone
Yeah.
wants to know that how would you explain withholding tax to an individual, like in subtle ways, in smaller words? How would you explain withholding tax individual to an individual?
Withholding tax
Yes, sir.
for individuals. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Withholding tax for individuals is paid to, that is, to the relevant state internal revenue service. Okay, but I need to know the business the person has done, with who the person, because if you're doing business with a company, an individual, you're doing business with a limited liability company or government, your withholding tax goes to FIRS. But if it is individual like Okezie with Timilein, it goes to the state, okay, the relevant state internal revenue service. So I need to know the nature of the business then before I can attend to the person properly. At least I need to understand what has transpired so that I can be able to classify where it belongs. Where it belongs, sorry.
Okay, so participants, you will notice that for this and one other question I was asked earlier, doctor couldn't provide much answer on it, and because some of these things are not cast in stone, there's a
Yeah.
context to it. So there are
Yeah.
structures. Most of these regulations they are not like binding as one. There are different pockets.
Exactly.
So what serves
Exactly.
a small
Because
business
yeah,
doesn't
because
necessarily
we
serve.
don't need sorry, please. Because we don't want to mislead the public. Okay? We don't
Yes.
want to mislead the public, please. We need to know I mean the facts of the matter of the case then before we can advise you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we have more questions coming in. If you're just joining us, this has been an insightful session and we're discussing tax incentive and its impact on your business. However, in the last few minutes, we've been asking more questions about taxation. We need clarity about taxes, taxation, and then you just want to get an expert opinion and advice. Dr. Okezie is more than available to do that in the remaining time that we have. So So some of our questions are like recurring. There are things that have been addressed before, but maybe we just take a minute, please, to just answer them, and then we know that we've dealt with it. So again, people are asking, my business is not yet generating 25 million annually. Do I need to file? Do I need to still do filing? And if yes, how can I go about it? For context, that business was registered in 2022 and it's not generating 25 million annual returns. Yes. Do they need to file? And if yes, how can they go about it?
Okay.
And
Thank you
also,
very much. Okay.
sorry, so let me just add this as well. Again, someone is also asking, remember we had a conversation earlier about if you registered a business, it's already operating in the eyes of the law, and then you should perform
Yeah.
your compliance. But someone is asking
Yes.
that can they file the new, like a new returns from the time of registration dates, even if the business is not operational? I think we confirmed that earlier. I think the answer to
Yes.
that, I believe the answer to that is yes. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
just
Yes.
if the business is not generating 25 million, they still need to do
Yes.
five years. So we just retrade these and then we know that we've answered this.
Yes. Thank you very much, Timilane. You see, to my wonderful audience out there, please, filing is a compliance provision. Okay. Whether you are generating 25 million or not, you see, you are required to file, file even statement of affairs when your company have not even done anything. Okay, and when you file, you apply for your tax clearance certificate, because who knows, you may have need for it. Okay, and probably you may use it to even secure a contract that might even make you start making 100 million and above, so that at least I'll come and collect taxes, and then we use it for economic development. Okay, it's our desire that these small businesses grow, becomes big, okay, so that they pay taxes and continue to assist uh, in developing our country. So please file. Whether you're making 25 million or less, please file, because we are not happy when people pay penalties, okay, for something you can just do. Filing, doesn't take anything. Even when it means preparing statement of affairs, please prepare and then file. It doesn't take anything. Thank you.
Okay, so again, just still emphasize, and I like that people are asking very quick questions, so we are sure that it's not ambiguous and they understand. So another question still on filing. So a business room registration, like a business that just registered as a business, and in terms of CAC school, do they also need to file? Filing, does it include everyone? Your business is registered, you should file everyone, either regardless of the structure or how small, how tiny it is.
Mm. You see, I've said it earlier. Okay, once you register, okay, do your business for like 6 months. After 6 months, you can approach. That's within 6 months. Okay, if you can approach the first month, good and fine. But within 6 months, okay, within 6 months, that's within 180 or 183 days. Please make sure you visit the tax authority. Okay, and then the VAT filing doesn't take anything. Fine. If you're even registered on the tax pro max, you can even file from the comfort of your home. You can file from your house. Just use your laptop and then do the filing. It doesn't take anything. Okay. So FIRS has evolved. Okay. We've moved from those years. The taxpayer must visit, face the traffic, and then visit the tax office. Once you come and then you're registered on the tax pro max, you can file from anywhere. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the clarity again, sir. So this is a bit technical, right? We trust your expertise to help with this. So someone is asking that someone who has two businesses, one as an employer and the other as a business partner who earns commission. So from the commission tax, okay, sorry, from the commission that they earn, tax is already deducted and remitted on the person's behalf. Does the person have to pay another tax?
Okay, beautiful. You see, when we talk about withholding tax, what is even withholding tax? Let me take it from that angle. Withholding tax is an advance payment of company's income tax. Okay, this man worked for. Okay, let's assume that that man's company ABC Nigeria Limited worked for FIRS. Okay, then FIRS deducted withholding before making payment to him, and then remit that withholding to FIRS. Or sorry, let me take off FIRS for this. Okay, let's assume that Timileyin Nigeria Limited work for ABC Limited. Okay, and ABC Limited deducted withholding from Timileyin Nigeria Limited and then remitted it to FIRS, which is the relevant tax authority in this instance. Okay. Now, at the end of the year, let's assume that the withholding tax, okay, deducted by by ABC from Timileyin is let's assume it's 100,000 naira, okay, from that contract. And now, when Timileyin Nigeria Limited, at the end of the year, Timileyin Nigeria Limited prepared his financial statement. Now, the tax due Timileyin Nigeria Limited is supposed to pay is, let's say, for that particular year, is 80,000 naira. Timileyin Nigeria Limited will file his returns, provide evidence of that deduction to FIRS. So in that case, you see, he will not need to pay cash. Rather, he will have a credit of 20,000 naira from this is 100,000 withholding deducted. Because withholding tax is an advance payment of company's income tax. And he should make sure that ABC Nigeria Limited remitted this 100,000 deducted from him to the relevant tax authority, in this case, which is FIRS. Okay, that is number one. Then number two, let's assume that at the end of the day, Timileyin's tax liability is 150,000. Meanwhile, for that particular period, he has withholding tax remitted on his behalf amounting to 100,000. He will not pay 150,000. What he will do is provide evidence of the withholding tax that was deducted and remitted. Then he will now pay just 50,000 naira cash. So by that deduction and remittance, he has paid part of his CIT. Okay? He has paid part of his CIT. So that's why withholding tax is an advance payment of company income tax. Withholding tax is not a tax type. No, but it's an advance payment of company's income tax. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. So another question while we wrap up, another question that would want us to take.
Okay.
I know you mentioned Tax Pro Max earlier. So someone
Yes,
has
I did.
raised a concern about how
Sorry, you're breaking. You're breaking, please.
Is it better now? Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, it's better now.
Okay. As I said, like we mentioned about Tax Pro Max earlier, and someone just raised a
Yes.
concern I want us to provide answers to. So they're saying that most times when they go to the tax office, the staff there do not help them activate the Tax Pro Max. that would enable them to file the tax on their own. So how can they be helped to get access to tax format so they can do it seamlessly by themselves and then just beat the bureaucracy there a bit?
Okay, thank you very much. You know, a Tax Pro Max is FIRS in-house developed software. It's a Nigerian-made software, okay, by FIRS, okay, and it's just a few years, okay. Then we have some at the moment, okay, some sorry, okay, simple. If you go to a tax office and the staff there, when you have completed all your forms, filled all your forms, and the staff there, okay, did not activate you to start filing on tax, please ask to see the tax controller. Ask to see the tax controller. Okay, if you did not get favorable response from the tax controller, okay, if you are in Lagos, we have state coordinators who are in charge of okay, for instance, Lagos is divided into three for administrative purpose. Okay, we have for Lagos mainland east, which is Ikeja, Agege, and the rest. The state administrator, the person in charge who all of us report to, because my office is in Oregu, my state administrator is in FRS building in Agedimbi. So ask to see the state administrator. He is like, the state administrator is like the FRS chairman in charge of Lagos Mainland East. If you are in on the island, go to 6th floor, 17 Biawolowo Road. Ask of the state administrator. Okay. Then, if you are in Lagos Mainland West, please go to our office there. Sorry, let me get the address of that office. Then I will share it, please. Okay, there is a state administrator in that place. That is areas like Apapa, Apapa, up to Badagry. Okay, that Lagos Mainland West. Okay, please. Sorry, someone asked about Ikorodu. If you are in Ikorodu, please come to Agidimbi. Agidimbi serves Ikorodu. Okay, the state administrator in Lagos Mainland East, which is Agidimbi. He serves Ikorodu. Please. Thank you. Both Ikorodu as well as Ikorodu Road. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarity. I would take one more question. We'll take one more question before we call it
Okay.
a wrap and provide other information for people to follow. Again, if you've been asking how if this will be available, yes, we'll have this available. It will be available across our social platform, most especially on YouTube for the long form. But before we go, I'd like to ask one more question. So someone is asking that for a startup company that is into technology, precisely e-hailing transportation, how should they calculate the percentage to be remitted to FIRS, whether the VAT should be charged per trip or charged cumulatively?
Okay, thank you. For an e-hailing company, okay, this company does not serve just one driver. Okay, for instance, let's use the existing e-hailing platform like Bolt. Okay, Bolt I know both have a lot of drivers that keyed in. Okay, so you are not charging per driver. What we are looking at is the aggregate income you are making at the end of the month from all of these people, okay, who you're serving. That is all of those drivers, I mean, that are connected to your network. Okay, so what is the commission? Because I know you are getting commission from them for using your app. So what is the aggregate? Okay, so is on that aggregate, not I mean on a particular driver or vehicle. No, is the aggregate. Assuming you have 500 vehicles or 200 vehicles, okay, that are connected to your platform. Okay, so at the end of the month or at the end of the year, what is the aggregate commission or income you have made from them? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I
Hello.
know I'd said that this is the last, that was going to be the last question, but just because someone asked a question about compliance, I would like us to take
Yeah.
this before we call it a wrap. So they're asking that if they, for some reason, if they fail to remit their VAT tax, if they fail to remit their tax to FIRS, will they be blocked from making the next payment? And if not, what is the penalty for such uh, mistake or such misconduct? What is the penalty for it?
Okay. Thank you very much. You know, uh, before now, we were not automated. FIRS was our processes were not automated. At the moment, our processes are automated. Okay, and if you fail to file as and at when due, definitely the system will charge you penalty. Is the system fine during the manual period? Fine, you can visit a taxpayer and then explain. However, you still need to find these are machines, okay? These are machines which are operated by human beings, okay? And they have not taken away the uh, the normal human relationship from us. All you need to do is, okay, you try to file, I mean, it's not, please go to the tax office, visit the tax office, see the tax controller, okay, explain. If probably your reasons are genuine, we are all human beings. They will listen to you. And we have wonderful people across FIRS, okay? We have wonderful people across FIRS who will listen to you, and then the issue will be treated on its merit. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Can't appreciate you enough for all the insights and expert opinion that you're giving to us on this. And first, for talking
It's
about the
my,
topic that
it's
you
my
presented.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. We are glad that you've been able to answer to all of our questions, and I'm sure that should we have more, we can continue to find the funnel that can allow us pass that to you from our participants and beneficiaries. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely.
So
Thank you.
for all of our
Thank you.
participants, we also want to say a big thank you to us for joining us on this session. It's been a great session. This has been brought to you by Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, established in 2016, with the goal of creating an enabling environment for wealth and job creation in Lagos State. And we achieve all of this through our core goals and core impact-driven projects, which include our loan program, the Lagos Innovates, Lagos Cares, Business Opportunities and Employability Unit. And this particular program and session has been brought to you by the Business Opportunities. And this is not the only one. Every month, every week, we create programs, events, as well as informative session like this to address your need. So we'd like to hear from you. A poll was earlier launched that we appreciate those that have participated. If you haven't participated, we want you to do that before we drop off. So we just want to hear from you. We want to do better. We want to know more about your needs and how we can help you in it. LSCTF is your partner in progress, from giving you enough innovative ideas from how you can grow your business to information to even access to markets to our incubation and acceleration program. You can imagine as much as you need. LSCTF is able to help you, supporting you all the way to realizing your goals. And we are thankful that our partnership with FIRS have been able to bring this informative session to you so you understand taxes better, you understand the concept of taxation, and most importantly, you know how to make your taxes work for you, the various incentives that are available for you, and how you can benefit from it. Thank you so much. This recording will be available on our YouTube platform. You can check at Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. And if you would like to connect with us on our other social platform, it's at LSCTF on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and for Facebook at LSCTFNG. We'd love to connect with you and bring you more innovative, informative sessions like this, and all of our other programs as well. I mentioned that we have Lagos Cares, Loans, Lagos Innovates, and also our employability project. We have so much in stock for business owners, Lagos residents in 2025, and you don't want to miss this. So I'd like you to stay in touch and you can be a part of it. Thank you so much, Doctor, once again. Before we wrap,
Thank you.
I was going to ask our people to say thank you, but then I'm seeing so much comments about thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. So we'll call it a wrap here and be back soon with another informative session. Like I said, stay connected. It was on all of our social media platforms, so you can be the first to hear about our innovations, our projects, our programs, and love to connect with you again. Until then, please enjoy the rest of the day and have a productive week ahead. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Timile. Thank you, LSCTF. Thank you, my audience. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.